Hello everyone, this is ACH AI Akaya, and I wanted to bring you a Zerg versus Zerg tutorial. A lot of people that I've talked to have had some problems with this matchup. The reason being is that it initially starts out pretty much Zergling and Baneling only, and if you try to rush Roaches or rush Mutas or something like that, or even if you just go straight Speedlings, you can have a lot of trouble in the Zerg versus Zerg matchup. You have to have a good combination of Zerglings and Banelings, and it's also important to have a decent micro and not let too many of your Zerglings or Banelings get taken out by the other, because in all reality, if you place good Banelings, you can actually take out around 8 Zerglings or drones if it's well placed. Of course, if the other player is doing good micro, then you probably won't be able to get that many, but every once in a while you get lucky, you get a good one off, and that gives you a huge advantage if you're able to pull off a Baneling that gets you that kind of damage. But anyways, going into this build, basically the way you open it up is usually around 11 or 12, try to get yourself a spawning pool. And then once you've got your spawning pool, you get your gas up and running, you try to get the speed upgrade for your Zerglings, and then you get a Baneling's nest. And not necessarily in those orders. I've seen players do it both ways, and I am by no means a professional StarCraft player. I am only in the Gold League currently. I'm guessing I will be moved up to Platinum League soon because I've been winning a lot of my 1v1 gold matches. But anyways, I wanted to post this strategy out here for obviously the game's being released here in a few weeks, and a lot of new players are going to be coming into the StarCraft 2 game, and if you haven't played, theory crafting is fun and everything, but if you haven't actually gotten hands-on time with the game, sometimes it can be a little bit difficult to execute those strategies you have in your head. And Zerg versus Zerg is one of the more difficult strategies to execute well early on, it seems like. So I figured I would get this video up and running for you guys so you guys can see it, get a little bit of an idea for how that Zerg versus Zerg matchup goes if you're having trouble with it. As you can see, here's the spawning pool going down right now. I put my spawning pool down at 12, like I mentioned. Some people put it down at 11 with the extractor trick, and then I do have my first extractor finishing right here, so I am going to get my gas going right now and then have a queen start here immediately after that, and this will allow me to get enough gas to put up my Baneling's nest and also to upgrade the speed upgrade. Also, real quick, while we're waiting for that to go down right now, I wanted to ask everybody, because I've heard some feedback from, and a lot of it's been my buddies harassing me, but I'm curious to see what you guys think of my little intro ACH AI Akaya. I get a lot of flack from my friends about that. They say it's hilarious and dumb and gay and whatever, any other stupid word you could call it. But I was curious, do you guys find it annoying? Is it a cool little signature way to open? I'm just curious to see what you guys, the subscribers in the community, have as feedback for me. So post whatever your thoughts are on that down in the comments below. I'm curious to hear what you guys have to say. But anyways, as you can see, the Zerg player getting down his own Baneling nest as well. So basically Zerglings and Banelings right now, as I mentioned, and that is primarily the entire Zerg versus Zerg matchup early on. As you can see there, I do have the speed upgrade going right now, and Baneling's nest going right down immediately after that. And basically this next set of spawn larvae off of this hatchery is all going to be entirely Zerglings, because you basically want to try to crank out as many Zerglings as you can early on, and I've already got a decent amount of drones going on the minerals, so sacrificing a few drones early on so that I can get a couple of extra Zerglings out. And looking at the entrance to cast space, the opponent Zerg that I'm facing off against right now, he does have 8 of his own Zerglings, and it looks like he's actually getting a pretty early layer. That's actually surprisingly early, because you want to basically get as much minerals and gas invested into your Zerglings and Banelings early on to get that advantage. And I am moving out right now with these initial Zerglings that I have. You can see that I do have about 16 right now, and trying to morph in some Banelings. Cast is, it looks like he's got his first 2 Banelings up and running, and once I get my units in place outside of his base, I will be investing in my own Banelings, of course. But he only has 1 Baneling here right now, and of course you do want to make sure you split your Zerglings up a little bit so you can spot that. Getting a little bit lucky there, I only lost 3 Zerglings because I kind of got blindsided by that first one, but there is another Baneling out here and more morphing in right now, and it looks like that one going to only take out 1 Zergling. So that is the micro I was talking about a little bit earlier. You got to be able to control your Zerglings and Banelings pretty well against a Zerg versus Zerg matchup, because losing a clump of Zerglings against Banelings early on can be the difference between winning a game and losing a game very easily, because one Baneling can take out up to about, I believe 8 Zerglings or drones, and it looks like there's actually one Baneling just kind of moving out on his own here. But I'm morphing in some more Banelings over here, going to try to take out some of these Zerglings here, going up this ramp. That first Zergling getting a little bit of micro in there, but then the rest of these going down, managing only to take out a handful of Zerglings. So of course I'm outnumbered by Zerglings right now. Going to back off for a little bit. Got more Zergling reinforcements coming and trying to get some more Banelings, and this is a very crucial part of the game, trying to break down the ramp because he's got all these Zerglings and Banelings. So once again, your control and micro in this portion of the game is very important. He does have a Spire going, so once again he's investing a lot more money in tech right now. As you can see, I do have a slight advantage in the number of Zerglings, and we are even on Banelings right now. And taking out these Zerglings with my own Zerglings, trying to save these Banelings. Got 4 Banelings, and then up in the ramp here, he's only got 2. So more Zerglings coming up here right now as well. So a pretty big advantage for me in the number of units that I have outside of his base at this point in time. But if you look at the income tab, we are both pretty even here at this point as far as gas goes. But I do have a mineral advantage because I have 3 more harvesters. It was 4 more just a second ago. And that is absolutely important more than anything when you're playing Zerg versus Zerg and you're trying to micro these units. Getting a couple good Banelings off right there too. Those are absolutely the kind of things you need to pull ahead in this matchup. But anyways, one very, very important thing in Zerg versus Zerg is that you absolutely need to make sure that you're keeping up with your macro, getting more drones at your base. And you can see here these 2 Banelings going and taking down a handful of those drones right away and going for that queen immediately. So between the queen that he's lost and the drones he's losing right now, he is in very, very bad shape. And back at my base, as you can see, more Zerglings right now. There is a Spire going. His Spire is finished. However, he's only got a few mutas building right now, and his Zerglings are he's trying to crank out a few more Zerglings to try to take out on these Zerglings that I have in his base. And I am once again morphing in a few more Banelings here because I am aware that he's building more Zerglings. He does manage to squeeze 4 Mutalisks out, but at the same time, I do have a queen at my base, my Spire just finishing, so managing to get some of my own Mutalisks building right now. And I am going to take some pretty heavy hits from his mutas. They're going to be able to take out my queen without too much trouble at all, but as you can see here, all of these are going to be morphed into Mutalisks straight away and building another queen to replace that. Meanwhile, back at his base, able to take down the rest of his Zerglings and his drones. So at this point, I'm aware that I've won the game because of the Baneling win that I had at the front of his base. So as you can see, the opening Zerg versus Zerg is extremely important to make sure you have a good mix of Zerglings and Banelings and that you're able to control them well. And as I mentioned, I am by no means a professional level player or anything, but this is definitely the way most Zerg versus Zerg is played out these days from what I've seen across the beta, and this is definitely the most effective way to engage a Zerg player early on in the game. But anyways, once again, StarCraft 2 getting ready to come out on the 27th. I know there's a lot of people out there that are going to be completely new to StarCraft in general, and are going to be completely new to StarCraft 2 even if they played StarCraft 1 because obviously the beta was closed. So not everybody was able to play the beta, so a lot of these strategies have been developed throughout the beta, and there have been some pretty good strategies refined already. I'm going to be doing more tutorials like this. I'll probably focus mostly on Zerg because I am a Zerg player myself, but I would definitely like to get some Protoss and Terran tutorials out there as well. So if you guys are looking for anything specific, please feel free to let me know. I will do my best to accommodate every need in this game. And once again, if you guys enjoy the channel, if you enjoy the videos, recommend it to your friends. I'm always trying to get some more subscribers so that we can get more videos up and basically just spread this community as much as possible. But thanks for watching, everybody. GG.